ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि। ॐ Dear friends, welcome to the study of the Yoga Sutras. We are coming to the end of this Vibhuti Pada, that is the third Pada, the third part of Yoga Sutras. We are coming to the end. We completed reading the 51st Sutra in the last class. 51st Sutra was a rather interesting sutra about how the yogi, when he attains a certain level of in that maturity yoga, that constant dharana, dhyana, samadhi, then he is invited, or rather he is allured by various divine entities. Or, okay, of course, Patanjali does not say, or Vyasa does not say that Sthan Yupanimantarane Sthani. Of course, he has interpreted it as Devas. But we can also say several other VIPs may also distract him, disturb him, they can invite him, say they can pander to his ego, and then thus confuse him. So he is not supposed to get confused. He is not supposed to get that smugness in him. So that sutra we completed in the last class. We have to read the 52nd sutra now. I will now share the text. Yeah, this sutra we have to read. Kshana tat kramayoho sanyamad vivekajam jnanam. Kshana tat kramayoho sanyamad vivekajam jnanam. So this is one more way of doing sanyama. Earlier we have done samyama on various things. He told about various aspects on various things, sanyama, how it has to be done. In fact, the whole third chapter, it is starting with sanyama only. Deshabandhas, chittasya, dharana, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, these three sutras. They were not explained in the second pada. You see, if you see why these three sutras only out of the Ashtanga Yoga is that eight limbed yoga. The 5 limbs are told in the second portion. The next 3 limbs are told in the third part. Why? Means because these 3 are they put together, they are called as sanyama. And the sanyama is one very, very important factor in attaining various levels. And various levels means not necessarily, not only Kaivalyam, but incidentally, he is also attaining certain siddhis. So that is what we saw in this say third pada, that is Vibhuti pada. So now this is one more way. Shana, Sanyama can be done on so many things. So this is one more way of doing Sanyama. On what? On the passage of time. Time is again, it is a mental construct, he is going to say. In fact, it is surprisingly is very, very close to Vedanta. In fact, when I was reading Bhagavatam recently, Bhagavatam has got one whole adhyaya which describes it. Kala. What is Kala? There is a discussion on that. This para also, this sutra also appears very, very close. That Kalam is a mental construct. It is something which is something which is imagined. That's all. So now let us see. Kshana tat kramayoho sanyamad vivekajam jnanam. Kshana is a moment of time, we say. What is this moment of time? This is the minutest fraction. And as we say that atom is something which is unbreakable, and in usually high school physics or so, we studied that atom is something which cannot be broken, something like that. But then now that we know that atoms are also, we know that there are division in atoms and then so many parts in atom. Atom itself is a world. So, but then let us assume that that is the minutest part. So, and Shana, like in a substance, physical substance, atom is the minutest part. Similarly, in the whole passage of time, in that whole passage of time from in that eternity of time, as we say, Kshana, a moment, is the minutest part. And that minutest part, and also after that minutest part, the next minute part comes, the next minute part comes. When I say Kshana, when I say Ksha, that moment is over. And then when I say Na, the earlier moment is over. When I say Shana, that the whole thing is over. And only some mental picture is there, in the mental picture is there. So Kshana and Shana, about this passage of time and all that, we find in Vakya Padiyam also certain insights in Vakya Padiyam also. and Bhagavatam, wonderful passages are there on these concepts. So Kshana tat kramayoho sanyamat. Krama means passage. Krama is actually a step. We know the word Trivikrama. Trivikrama. That is the one who measured the whole universe in 3 steps. Actually, in 2 steps only. The third foot, he didn't literally place it on the head of Bali, though we assume that he placed it. Srimad Bhagavata, if you read closely, he did not place the foot on the head. So this is one point which we have to note, because many people, they say, okay, this Bali is a representative of Brahmins. He suppressed the Dalits by putting some foot on the head. That is something nonsense, which is not there in the Bhagavatam. Please read. So that is incidental. So krama is a step. Now, what is the krama? Krama means the sequence, one after the other, one after the other. That is the sequence. Krama, when we say. Krama shikshana also we say. Krama is that sequence. Shamana tat kramayoha sanyama. So we have to do sanyama on the moment and its passage and its next see, and then the sequence or flow or passage. By that, again, we get that vivekajam jnanam. Vivekajam jnanam. That jnanam which arises out of viveka. Viveka is which are prathak bhave. We have to discriminate. We have to analyze. We have to just we have to contemplate and analyze. So analysis, that is tapasa brahma vijignyasasva. By thinking only, by thinking and by knowledge, by deliberation and by contemplation, we have to know the truth. So by doing sanyama on a moment of time and its flow, one attains the knowledge arising from viveka, discrimination. Then yatha apakarsha paryantam dravyam paramanuhu. Apakarsha paryantam, that is when you utkarsha, apakarsha, you know the words. Utkarsha is highest, apakarsha is the lowest. Utkarsha sthiti we say. So apakarsha paryantam, that is the lowest possible level. Dravyam paramanuhu, that is the atom. Evam parama apakarsha paryantah kalaha shanaha. Minutest, parama, one more adjective he has put, parama apakarsha paryantam, that is minutest part in time is kshana. Yavatava samayena or yavata samayena chelitaha paramanuhu purvadesham jahyat uttaradesham upasampadhyeta sakalaha shanaha. By the time which is taken for a what is this atom, yavatava samayena chelitaha paramanu. Now again we are taking the help of paramanu in order to understand the concept of time. So paramanu, that answer, that whatever atomic entity, the time it takes for that to move to the next paramanu, next stage, next step, that is paramanu. Just like I take one right step. One step right, one step left, we see in drill also. So, so like that, suppose one step. So I just move and then just move. So that is time taken for a atom to move itself. So that's all. That is what is called, that is the kala, that is the kshana. Yavatava samayena chelitaha paramanu which moves. Purvadesham jahyat, it leaves the earlier place. Uttara desham upasampadhyeta, goes to the next place, not far off place, just by its side only. Sakalaha kshanaha, just moves itself. Sakalaha kshanaha, that quantum of time is called kshana. Tat pravaha avichchedastu kramaha. Tat pravaha avichcheda. Vichcheda means stopping. Avichcheda means non-stop. That is the flow. Pravaha avichchedastu kramaha. Krama is the passage, unbroken flow. So just as the minutest part of a substance is atomic in size, similarly the minutest part of time is kshana. Its uninterrupted flow is the krama. Then kshana tat kramayoho nasti vastu samaharaha iti buddhi samaharo muhurta ahoratra. You see, kshana tat kramayoho. Kshana, suppose you are thinking about kshanam, a moment, and it's a passage. Is there any vastu samahara? Is there any sort of aggregate? Can we imagine some aggregate? Like paramanus, some paramanus, they join, they become a molecule, and a few molecules, some molecules mix up, they come together, and then they become an object. So like that, you can't objectify time. You can't see it. You can't see it as a vastu samahara. You can't see it as a collection or an aggregate. Samahara is an aggregate. Nasti vastu samahara iti Buddhi samaharo muhurta ahoratradaya. Buddhi samahara. It is buddhi samahara only. It is only something which is there, an aggregate which happens in the mind. Because I remember something what breakfast I have taken in the morning, and again after passage of time, again after some time I am going to have some lunch. So this is something which is imagined in time in my mind only. Buddhi samaharaha muhurta ahoratradaya. Muhurta is almost equal to 1 hour. Let us say ahas and ratra. Ahas plus ratra, ahoratra. Day, night, all these months, whatever you take, years, etc. They are all mental constructs. Sakhalvayam kalu vastushunnyopi buddhi nirmana. That particular kala, this ayam kalaha, vastushunnyopi, though there is no actual tangible object there. Buddhi nirmana is a construct of buddhi. Buddhi nirmana. Buddhina, not buddhina, buddhya. Buddhi is a strilinga. Buddhya nirmita, nirmitaha. That is, it is something which is made up in the mind, by the mind. Shabdajnananupati vastushunyo vikalpaha. You see, earlier we had one sutra, Shabdajnananupati. We just hear, yes, 1 hour time. And that 1 hour time, that it conveys some meaning. Shabdajnananupati, but vastushunya. Laukikanam, yuthita darshananam, for all the laukika, for all ordinary people. Vyuthita darshananam. Vyuthita darshanam means we only see certain superficial things. Only people who don't see things deeply. Vastu swarupa iva avabhasate. For people who think superficially, it looks like a vastu. It looks like an object. Ideas like muhurta, day and night are merely aggregations in mind, as there is no tangible aggregation of moments and their sequence. Time is a mental construct and illusion of mind. Kshanastu vastupatitaha kramavalambi. Kshana is something which is we see. We see means we feel. Kshana is something which we see. Kshana is called a vastu. Kramavalambi. Then it is something which is the basis. Krama avalambi means it is the avalamba. Avalamba is something which is a foothold, isn't it? Karavalambum we say. Avalamba. It is something like a hand holding or foot holding. Kramavalambi means that is the basis for the passage of time. Kshana is basically, moment is basically the basis based on which we think of a flow, we think of a passage of time. Kramasya kshananantaryatma tam kalavidaha kala ityajachate yoginaha. Kramasya kshananantaryatma, that is what is its real nature, what is the nature of kshana? Kshana anantaryatma krama. What is the krama? It is something which is, it is the continuous flow. Kshana anantaryam. Kshanasya anantaryam. Anantaryam is next. The kshana moves and the kshana moves. So this movement of the kshana anantaryam. Anantaryam is, anantara is later. Kshana anantaryam. One kshana, one moment, and next. And after that, next. So like that, it is a continuous flow. It is called, the yogis, the knowers of time, they call it time. Kala vidaha kala ityachakshate yoginaha. Nacha dvaukshanau saha bhavataha. Dvaukshanau, two moments, they don't coexist. Kramascha na dvayoho saha bhuvoho asambhavat. And krama is something which is not possible. Krama is not possible if two moments of time are together. And we know that two moments of time cannot be together. It is actually one moment, the moment I think of something, immediately the next moment has come. So it is like that. Kramascha na dvayoho saha bhuvoho asambhavat. Two things. Saha bhuvaha means coexisting. So there cannot be a flow for two coexisting moments. So that is what it means. Purvasmad uttarabhavinaha yad anantaryam kshanasya sakramaha. Purvasmat kshanat uttarabhavinaha kshanasya yad anantaryam sakramaha. That is the filling of words. So that is a later moment. Coming after an earlier moment is the sequence. A later moment coming after an earlier moment is the sequence. Purvasmat uttarabhavinaha yad anantaryam. Anantaryam means coming later. Anantaram means later. Anantaryam means the fact of coming later, the action of coming later. So it is the sequence. Hence, the present moment is the only tangible one, but not the previous and later ones. Tasmat vartamanaha ekaikaha shanaha na purvottara kshanaha santiti. So now the yoga principle is The Vartamana Ekaika, this particular, this Kshana, Vartamana Kshanam alone is there, and not the earlier one or the later one. Then na Purvottara Kshanaha. Tasman Nasti Tas Samaharaha. Therefore, there is no aggregation of those moments. ये तु भूतभाविनः क्षणाः ते परिणामान्विताः व्याख्येयाः. This is again another point. Time is also associated with parinama. Parinama means time doesn't change. Parinama is in the universe only. Parinama is in the universe. And parinamanvitaha. How do we know time? We know time only because I had some breakfast in the morning and after some time I feel hungry. Because I feel hungry, that sort of parinama has taken place in me. Because of that parinama, I feel, oh, so much of time has lapsed. So that is why I am hungry. So similarly, parinama takes place in everything. Jayate, asti, parinamate, like that, all these parinamas, all the changes, they take place in all objects. And because of the parinama, we calculate time. Yetu bhuta bhavinaha shanaha. Bhuta is past. Bhavinaha, bhavi means the future. Bhuta kshanaha, bhavinaha shanaha. So that is the past and future moments. They are understood in relation to change. Change in what? Change in various objects in the universe. क्षणाः ते परिणामान्विताः व्याख्येयः. तेन एकेन क्षणेन कृत्स्नो लोकः परिणामम् अनुभवति. In one moment, कृत्स्नः लोकः. You see, parinama is something which is always there. Jagat, the very meaning of Jagat is gacchati. It flows, it always moves. Gacchati iti Jagat. That is, it is actually, there is a flux. There is that flux which is constantly happening. It is a constant flux. So that is what is Jagat, that it always changes. Tena ekena kshanena krusno lokaha parinamam anubhavati. That is, in one moment, the whole universe experiences change. Then tat kshana uparudhaha khalu ami sarve dharmaha. Ami sarve dharmaha. Ami, these, all objects. All these objects means all these objects in the universe. Tat kshana uparudhaha. So they are all interwoven. Uparudha means arohanam means climbing. Parvatarohanam, something like Parvatarohanam. Arudha means climbed. Uparudhaha, which are based on that shana uparudhaha kalvami sarve dharmaha. All these objects are something which are interwoven, are based on that particular moment. Tayoho kshana tat kramayoho sanyamat tayoho sakshat karanam. So here we have to do sanyama on kshana and tatkrama. Kshana and tatkrama. That is the sanyama which is needed here. Tayoho sakshat karanam. By that we realize them. We realize the nature of that time and the flow of time. Tatasya vivekajam jnanam pradurbhavati. From that, this viveka jnanam pradurbhavati. So the knowledge arising from that viveka or discriminative, that discrimination, that is the overall discriminating ability, is something which pradurbhavati. It arises, it happens, it results. Then this sutra is proposing another way of doing sanyama in order to sharpen the skill of viveka, discriminating ability. Such viveka can be applied to understand any other subtle things like mahat, etc. Other subtle things like this is what is Bhoja's commentary. Bhoja writes this point, that this viveka is somewhat like a tool. Viveka, the sharpening, capacity to discriminate, it is a tool. It can be applied to understand other subtle things like mahat. It's a mahat. Then here time is another parameter to contemplate and know the nature of things. Then tasya vishaya vishesha upakshipyate. What are all the subjects which come under the purview? Subjects are objects, not subjects, objects, let us say. What are all the objects which come under the purview of this vivekajam jnanam? Vivekajam jnanam is knowledge arising from viveka. What are they? Then jati lakshana deshaihi anyatanavachchedat tulyayoho tatah pratipattihi. Jati lakshana deshaihi anyatanavachchedat tulyayoho tatah pratipattihi. Tulyayoho. Suppose I take say tulya, equal things. Equal things means I take 2 pens. Suppose I take 2 pens in my hand, I can actually make a distinction. Okay, this is one pen which is rather stout, which is blue in color, and then this is something which is green in color, and then sizes are different. One is rather stout and one is rather slim, and then like a green ink and red ink. I can make out from various lakshanas, from various properties, and I can I can also make out the difference. This is a cell phone, and this is something which is pen. So this jati, the class is different, and here, though the class is same, lakshana is different. Then desha means, suppose I have this pen here and some other pen somewhere in some other place, some other place, some other location. Let us say desha means need not country, but some other location. And here, of course, he gives the examples of some fruits. Amalaka fruit. Amalaka is what is called the citrus fruit, what we call, not exactly lemon. Amalaka, kara. Yeah, okay, Amalaka fruit, let us say. That Amalaka fruit is a given example. Or take any mango fruit. One type of mango fruit is it is grown in Hyderabad. Another type of mango fruit is grown in somewhere in Kakinada or some other place. So the taste of mango here is slightly different. The structure, the composition, and the inside whatever that what we call that solid portion. That portion, all those things are different from the mango which is grown somewhere in Kakinada. So it is like that. So jati lakshana deshahi. So in order to know the difference between two objects, two equal objects, two similar looking, not equal, two similar looking objects, we see these things. These are the factors by which, through which we know their separateness. Anyata is separateness. Let us see the sutra. Jati lakshana deshaihi anyata anavachhedat tulyayoho tataha pratipattihi. Tataha is from that knowledge told in the previous sutra, vivekajam jnanam. Pratipatti is again jnanam. From that earlier knowledge, the yogi attains knowledge of two similar things. Tulyayoho, two similar things. If their difference or separateness is not determined, the difference between them or separateness is not clearly established. Avacheda means bheda. Avacheda means something which is avacheda means nishchaya. It is not anyata anavachedat. Anyata is bheda. Anyata is separateness. Avachedana means that nishchaya jnana. So anyata anavachedat, if the difference is not specific, is not very clearly determined, then how do you determine jati lakshana deshaihi? On the ground of class, characteristic of place. So this is what it means. From that earlier knowledge mentioned in the earlier sutra, the yogi attains knowledge of two similar things if their difference is not determined on the ground of class, characteristic, or place. If this can be determined, then all of us we are competent to do this discrimination. All of us are competent to know, okay, this is from this place, this is a red pen, this is a green pen, etc. We are all competent to do. But when two totally similar things are kept, and when ordinary people are not able to distinguish, the yogi will be able to distinguish. So that is the speciality. Otherwise, what is the point of Sanyama? The very Sanyama is on that. He is able to see the minutest difference and then he will be able to know. That is what he is going to say. Then, Tulyayoho desha lakshana sarupye jati bhedaha anyatayaha hetuhu. Anyata is separateness. Anya is another one. Anyata is separateness. Anyatayaha hetuhu. What is this? Tulyayoho. Tulyayoho, when they are totally similar. Desha lakshana sarupye, when the place and the characteristic are same. The distinguishing mark is their class. The class. So I can take this pen and this thing. They are two different class, but though they are in the same place and the same characteristics. Suppose this is also dark, let us say. So this is dark pen and dark phone. But then the class is different. The distinguishing mark is their class. When the place and class are common, the distinguishing mark is the characteristic. When these two things are common, characteristic, one is glue one and one is a pencil, so something like that. So jati bhedaha anyata hetu gauhu iyam vadava iyam iti. Gauhu iyam, this is gau is cow, and then vadava is that female of a horse. It is a mare. This is a cow, this is a mare. Tulya desha jatiyatve lakshanam anyatva Kalakshi Gauhu. Tulya Desha Jatiyatve. When the place and jati are one, Then Lakshana, when two cows are there, one cow is having some dark eyes, another cow is having Swastimati cow, very, very auspicious cow. It is all nice features. One is not a very, one is not so nice and the other is very nice. Then Dvayoho Amalakayoho. Now he is taking the Amalaka. Amalaka, that amala fruit. Dvayoho Amalakayoho. Jati Lakshana Sarupyat. When Jati and Lakshana, Jati is class and Lakshana is characteristic, when they are one and the same. Desha Bhedaha, Anyatva Desha Bhedaha. This is something which is grown here in Hyderabad. This is something which is grown elsewhere. And that knowledge the yogi attains. Of course, you can also say roughly, but then two things exactly similar, we will not be able to say. Desha Bhedaha Anyatvakaraha idam purvam idam uttaramiti idam purvam. This is the former one and this is the later one. Or Purva Uttara, it can also mean Purva is eastern direction and Uttara is the northern direction. We can take, in fact, both meanings are given by the commentators. Purva is east, Uttara is north. Or Purvam is something which is older and this is something which is a newer one. So idam Purvam idam Uttaramiti. Then Yadatu Purvamamalakam Anya Vyagrasya Jnatuhu Anya Vyagrasya. When the Jnata, suppose I am sitting here, I am looking into my text and I am not I am not seeing what is happening. So in front of me some fruits are there. So somebody comes and puts one fruit from here and then he displaces them. He puts them elsewhere and from another batch he puts it here and then he actually makes a change. Then if I am a yogi, then I will be able to know. If I am an ordinary man, I will not be able to know. Yadatu purvamamalakam anyavyagrasya. Anyavigrasa means when he is engaged. Jnata, when the jnata is engaged in some other duty, in some other way, let us say. Uttaradeshaha upavartyate. Uttaradeshaha, not Upadeshaha. Uttaradeshe upavartyate. There is a sandhi here. In fact, I should have written that also clearly. Uttaradeshe upavartyate. So it is shifted to some other place. And Tulya Deshatve Purvametad Uttaram Purvametad Uttarametad iti pravibhaga anupapatti. So this is the earlier one, this is the later one. Iti pravibhaga anupapatti. It will be difficult to distinguish which is earlier and which is later. Then asandigdhena cha tattvajnanena bhavitavyam. Tattvajnana should always be doubtless. We should whenever we talk about knowledge, it should be totally doubtless. Asandigdhena bhavitavyam. Tattvajnanena Tatvajnanena asandigdhena bhavitavyam. That is, Tatvajnana should always be asandigdha. There should not be any sandeha in that. There should not be any doubt. Ityataha, because of that, idamuktam tatah pratipattihi viveka jnana iti. Hence it is said that such jnanam, that such knowledge means that minutest, that ability to know even the minutest change, that is by viveka, told in the earlier sutra. Pratipattihi vivekaja jnanat. So that is what that sutra says. Tatah pratipattihi iti. Tatah pratipattihi, tataha, from that earlier thing. Pratipattihi, you are able to apply that discriminating ability anywhere. Discriminating ability anywhere, nobody can cheat you. So that is the problem. That is the point. Then Yadatu Purvamamalakam, we read it. Then Katham Purvamalaka Sahatshano Deshaha Uttaramalaka Sahatshana Deshat Bhinnaha. How does it happen? So somehow he says he is also associating the location, Desha. Purvamalaka Sahatshano Deshaha. The location which is associated with that moment of time of earlier fruit. Purva Amalaka is that earlier fruit, let us say. Amalaka Sahatshano Deshaha. The location Sahatshanaha, associated with that particular moment of time. Sahatshana of that particular time. And it is something which is different from the location associated with the moment of time of the later fruit. So slightly complicating samasa. Complicated samasa. Purva Amalaka Sahatshano Deshaha. Uttara Amalaka Sahatshana Deshat Bhinnaha. So this Amalaka, which is associated with one particular location and one particular moment of time. Amalaka is also associated with a particular time and place. and that is different from another Amalaka which is associated with another different time and place. So भिन्न देशात् भिन्नः ते च आमलके स्वदेश क्षण अनुभव भिन्ने. So these amalakas, they are different by virtue of their desha and kshana anubhava bhinne. Then anya desha kshana anubhavastu tayoh anyatve hetuhu. So anyatva hetu means the cause for their separateness. It is anya desha kshana anubhava. This man, this yogi is able to experience anubhava is experience. This yogi is able to experience, oh yes, this is something from different place, this is from different time. He is able to know that. Then एतेन दृष्टान्तेन परमाणोः तुल्यजाति लक्षण देशस्य पूर्वपरमाणुदेश सहक्षण साक्षात्करणात् उत्तरस्य परमाणोः तद्देशानुपपत्तौ उत्तरस्य तद्देशानुभवो भिन्नः. All unnecessary discussion. By this example, परमाणोः तुल्यजाति लक्षण देशस्य, one parmanu which is tulya jati lakshana, the same type, same jati, same lakshana, same place. Then purva paramanu desha sakshana sakshat karanat. So by knowing the desha, kshana and desha, kshana, jati, etc. sakshat karanat. Uttarasya paramanu tad desha anupapattau uttarasya tad desha anubhavo bhinnaha. Sahakshana Vedat is a very complicated line. I am not going to explain this. There is no point. We can explain, we can break into pieces and explain. It only says that the yogi is able to know all these things so minutely. Now the next point is to be noted. Aparetu varnayanti ye antyaha visheshaha te anyata pratyayam kurvanti iti. Now he is coming to the Vaisheshika principle. This Vaisheshika principle is rejected both by Vedanti and also by yogis. So these yogis, they are also accepting Vedanta idea that Vaisheshika school, it talks about atoms. And if I want to know the difference between two objects, the difference between two objects is known by the structure of their constitution of their atoms. So that is what Vaisheshika school says. So all this Vishesha, Samanya and Vishesha. Vishesha is that specialness. How does any object get its specialness? But because its atoms are constituted in a slightly different way. This is what we also accept nowadays in science. And now, of course, yogi is going to refute it. Even that is not necessary. He does not totally reject it. That is not necessary, he says. But the yogi will be able to say. Apare tu varnayanti, apare, others, they say, ye antyaha visheshaha, te anyata pratyayam kurvanti. So antya visheshaha, antya means the minute, that last one means that is the minutest one, antya vishesha. Antya vishesha is that atom, which is the minutest one. Te anyata pratyayam kurvanti. They are responsible for that anyata pratyayam. They are responsible for knowing the separateness. Then here the reference is to the Vaisheshika school, which talks about atomic stage of matter, a state of matter. Then according to it, the atoms are the minutest parts and they give the knowledge of the distinctness of things. The yoga school says that such theory is unnecessary, as the yogi would be able to know the distinction by the knowledge arising from viveka. So that vivekajam jnanam. So he does not reject it totally, but he simply says, tatrapi, even there, tatrapi, desha lakshana bhedaha murti vyavadhi jati bhedascha anyatve hetuhu. Even there, this anyatva means that separateness. Hetuhu, karan, hetu is the karanam, that is the cause for all the reason for all this is desha, place, lakshana, the characteristic, desha lakshana bhedaha, murti vyavadhi jati bhedaha, murti, that form, vyavadhi, the time gap, jati, the class. So all this bhedascha, anyatve hetuhu. Shana bhedastu, yogi buddhigamya eva iti, shana bhedaha. So because he has done sanyama on the kshana also, the time also. So even the next moment of time, suppose you have plucked one fruit and in the next few minutes only you have plucked another fruit. So the yogi will be able to say which fruit has been plucked first and which fruit has become ripe first and which fruit became ripe later, etc. Kshana bhedastu yogi buddhigamya eva. That kshana bheda, that time, that moment can be known only by the yogi, yogi buddhigamya eva. अतः उक्तं मूर्ति व्यवधि जाति भेद अभावात् नास्ति मूल पृथक्त्वमिति वार्षगण्यः. So he is quoting one teacher who says that in this moola pruthaktvam nasti. Moola pruthaktvam means in the moola prakriti. In that moola prakriti, there is no pruthaktvam. There is pruthaktvam in all other things. Moola pruthaktvam, say after that prakriti, from that prakriti we have got prakriter mahan, mahato, ahankaraha, ahankarat, atanmatra, etc., etc. That whole tree comes out. So in that moola prakriti, there is no bheda. Only when it evolves into this mahat, ahankara, etc., then only then all these changes come, and in that moola prakriti it is not there. Murti vyavadhi jati bheda abhavat. So in that moola prakriti, all these things are absent. Moola prakriti is something which is sukshma. Sukshma is something which is not known by the senses. Only from mahat onwards it is known. Then murti, vyavadhi, jati, bheda, abhavat, all these bhedas, all these distinctions are not there in that moola prakriti. Nasti moola pruthaktvam iti varshakanyaha. In that moola prakriti, there is no what is the separateness. There is no, it is not it's not seen. That is it. So that is why in Vedanta we say whether we can't say that Maya, this Prakriti, what yoga calls Maya. Sorry, yoga calls, in yoga we call it Prakriti. In Vedanta we call it Maya. Maya doesn't mean that it is absolutely non-existent. Maya means we cannot say whether it is existing or not. That is it. Asti nasti vichikitsa hetu. That is whether it exists or not. We do not know. Then next sutra says, Tarakam sarva vishayam sarvatha vishayam akramancha iti vivekajam jnanam. Again, that vivekaja jnanam, that jnanam which is arising out of that discrimination, or the knowledge which arises with that discriminating ability. What are the advantages or what are the features of that? That is something which is tarakam. Tarakam. We know that Taraka Rama, we say. What is Taraka Rama? Rama, who liberates us. Rama's name liberates us. That is by contemplating on Rama, by knowing the Rama Tattvam, etc. We are liberated from all the bonds of samsara, etc. So here also Tarakam is liberation from what? Liberation from all the bonds. So that is this Vivekajam Jnanam, it tells me, suppose I am having some anger against somebody. So I contemplate on this with the help of this Vivekajam Jnanam. So this particular moment, my anger is like this. And after a couple of days, my anger goes down. Suppose I keep watching it. All these things, Rana Vrana Kalankanam, Kali Lopo Bhavishyati, it says. Rana Vrana Kalankanam. So even anger also. Uttame Kshanakopasya, they say. Uttame Kshanakopasya, Madhyame Ghatika Dvayam. So like that they say. Adhame Syad Ahoratram, Papishte Maranantakamiti. So like that, this, suppose I meditate on my anger. I meditate on some other feeling I have, maybe some greed or something else. So all these things, suppose I contemplate on them, I know their nature. I come to know their nature, their very ephemeral, transient nature. And then that way I get rid of them slowly. Suppose I am angry, I hate somebody. So that hate, all those things, they do disappear. Tarakam, Sarva Vishayam. And not only Tarakam, Sarva Vishayam. And it can be applied to all things, encompassing all things. Then Sarvatha Vishamam, Sarvatha Vishayam, Sarvatha, in all aspects, Sarvatha. Sarvatha is in all aspects. Not only in one aspect, but in all aspects, Sarvatha. Sarvatha Vishayam. Akramam does not mean something which is irregular. Akrama is, oh, this is Akramam, we say in Telugu. Akramam means something irregular, something which is a sort of violation. It is not a violation, na kramam. It is not in a sequence. It does this knowledge. It doesn't happen in a sequence. It happens instantaneously. It happens simultaneously. Yeah, instantaneous is better instead of simultaneous. So akramancheti, yeah, instead of simultaneous also is okay. Vishayam akramancha iti vivekajam jnanam. So this jnanam, this is number one, it is liberating. Number two, encompassing all things. Number three, sarvatha vishayam, it encompasses all aspects, not only from one aspect, from all aspects. Akramancha, something which does not follow any sequence, doesn't follow any sequence, it is simultaneous. It happens in a moment. Iti vivekajam jnanam. So the knowledge arising from Viveka is liberating, encompassing all things, encompassing in all aspects and simultaneous. So 4 aspects are told. Then Tarakam iti Swapratibhottam Anaupadeshikam ityarthaha. Tarakam iti Swapratibhottam. Swapratibha means it is something which is arising from our own pratibha. Pratibha does not mean talent here. We talk about some pratibha. Oh, pratibhavan, we say. Pratibhavan, a very talented person, very high, very, yeah, that way, talent. But here it is not talent. Swapratibhotham is something which is relating to our own intuition, something which is when we contemplate on things, naturally from that contemplation, in other words, tapas, let us say, in that tapas we are able to see things more clearly. When we contemplate, we can see things more clearly. So then it is something which is not taught by somebody. The teacher only shows the way. The teacher tells you, oh, this is what on these lines you please think. And we are the people who are supposed to do tapas. We are supposed to do, as that famous statement is there, that tapasa brahma vijijnasasva. We are supposed to do it ourselves. We have to walk the route. The teacher only shows the direction. Iti swapratibhotham. Swapratibha plus uttham. Uttham is arisen from. Pratibhotham is arising from one's own pratibha. It is something which is intuitive, not taught by others. Anaupadeshikam is, upadesham is teaching. Anaupadeshikam, not taught by somebody else. Then sarva vishayam, na asya kinchid avishayi bhutam ityarthaha. So there is nothing which is not under the purvey of this or purview of this. Purvey or purview, I think both are same. Kinchid avishayi bhutam. There is nothing which is beyond its purview. Then sarvatha vishayam. Sarvatha in all aspects, not only now, but atita, anagata, pratyutpannam. You see, sarvatha vishayam. What is the meaning of sarvatha vishayam? Atita, anagata, pratyutpannam. Atita, past, anagata, future, pratyutpanna, pratyutpannavamati, present. That is pratyutpannavati as dirghadarshi, dirghasutra, pratyutpannavati, visi, praptakalagnya. So that is pratyutpanna, just present moment. Sarvam, sarvatha janati, in all aspects he knows. Akramam, iti, ekakshanoparudham, sarvam sarvatha grunhati, ekakshanoparudham, in one shana, sarvam sarvatha grunhati, he understands everything. Etad vivekajam jnanam paripurnam, asyaiva amshaha yoga pradipah, madhumatim bhumim upadaya, yavadasya pratisamaptihi iti. Etad vivekajam jnanam paripurnam. So this is the all-encompassing knowledge, paripurnam, that is total. This is complete, all-encompassing knowledge arising from Viveka. Then, asyaiva amshaha yoga pradipaha. This yoga pradipa, we can translate it as the light of yoga. That is, when we start practicing yoga, gradually it is starting from one small lower level to higher level. We saw so many levels. And when one earlier sutra started with that Madhumati, Madhu Bhumika, that is one level. Yoga Pradipa, the light of yoga, which is a part of this knowledge, starts from this Madhumati and attains its completion here. Here means with this ultimate final level. That final level is the climax. Asyayvamshaha Yoga Pradipaha Madhumatim Bhumim Upadaya, having attained this Madhumati Bhumi, Yavad Asya Parisamaptihi, till it attains that final stage. Yavad Asya, till the time it attains the final stage. So this is the penultimate sutra in this particular pada. Now, yeah, we do have some time. Prapta Vivekaja Jnanasya, Aprapta Vivekaja Jnanasya va. This is the avatarika. Prapta Viveka Jnanasya, for somebody who has attained this Viveka Jnanam, or Aprapta Viveka Jnanam, somebody who has not attained that not attained the Viveka Jnanam. Then for him, Sattva Purushayoho Shuddhi Samye Kaivalyamiti. Sattva Purushayoho Shuddhi Samye Kaivalyamiti. There is one, what is this Sattva and Purusha? Sattva is Buddhi. Buddhi in which Sattva Guna is dominant. Here, Sattva actually means any substance is Sattva. The normal meaning of Sattva is any substance. But here Sattva is the Buddhi Sattva. Buddhi Sattva means that Buddhi in which the Sattva aspect is predominant. Then Purusha. And on these two, of these two, Shuddhi Samye, they attain that equal level of purity. Equal level of purity does not mean that equal level of purity at 25%. So equal level of purity means both are equally dull, not like that. Equal level of purity means Purusha is always pure. Purusha, the Sattva also has to reach that level of purity. That is what it means. So Sattva Purushayoho Shuddhi Samye Kaivalyam. So that is what is called Kaivalyam. Sattva Purushayoho Shuddhi Samye Kaivalyam iti. Here, in fact, I had a small doubt. I will come to that. The Sattva Purushayoho, of the Sattva aspect of the Buddhi and Purusha, pure consciousness, Shuddhi Samye, on attaining equal level of purity, Kaivalyam iti. Equal level of purity means Purusha doesn't go down. Purusha is always the pure consciousness. So when this buddhi also attain that level, that is when Rajoguna and Tamoguna are totally discarded and Sattva also drops off. So that is that level of purity. Then Kaivalyam iti. So it is called liberation. Because Sattva Guna also is binding. Suppose I have totally reduced this Rajoguna and Tamoguna. But then, at least theoretically, though practically the Gita itself says it is impossible. At least 1% of one small fraction of Tamoguna and one fraction of Rajoguna may be there. So, but here we have to totally eliminate, and even the Sattva-guna also drops off. So, when the Sattva aspect of Buddhi attains the same level of purity as Purusha, it is called Kaivalyam. Yada nirdhuta rajastamo malam buddhi sattvam Purushasya anyata pratiti matradhikaram dagdha klesha bijam bhavati tada purushasya shuddhi sarupyamiva apannam bhavati. Yada, when nirdhuta rajastamo malam buddhi sattvam purushasya buddhi sattvam. So this buddhi sattvam, nirdhuta, dhuta, avadhuta I explained, totally shaken off. Rajas, tamo, malam, the dirt of rajas, rajoguna and tamoguna are totally shaken off. Then purushasya anyata pratiti matradhikaram. So it is now just eligible only to see that anyata matra, purushasya anyata matra adhika pratiti. So it is fully qualified to see the anyata, the separateness of that Purusha. Oh, this Purusha, this pure consciousness is something which is different from this body-mind complex. I am able to see that. That Nirdhuta, Rajasthamamala, when totally this Rajoguna means my own aham, mama, etc., my own raga, dvesha and all these things. When these things are there, then naturally I cannot see truth. When all these things are totally driven away, then only then I will be able to see that, okay, this Purusha, or what is called that pure consciousness, is something which is different from this body-mind complex. Purushasya anyata pratiti matradhikaram dagdha klesha bijam bhavati. So it is something, all the kleshas are now totally destroyed. They are in that burnt seed state. Dagdha klesha bijam, burnt seed state. Klesha bhavati tada purushasya shuddhi sarupyamiva apannam bhavati. Purushasya shuddhi sarupyamiva apannam bhavati. Then this buddhi also, it becomes so pure. It is so pure. It is almost like Purusha. It becomes like pure, so pure like that. Then tada purushasya upacharita bhoga bhavaha shuddhihi. At that time, purushasya upacharita bhoga bhavaha. So on Purusha, this bhoga is something which is attributed to the Purusha. So Vyasa Bhashya is saying, this is what I was telling, the doubt. So we know that in Sankhya and Yoga, in Vedanta, of course, Purusha or Atma or consciousness or Brahman is something which is not having Kartrutva or Bhoktrutva. There is absolutely no Kartrutva or Bhoktrutva. It is merely Sakshi, something which is illumining the Antakarana, something which is illumining the body-mind complex. But here in the Sankhya philosophy is that Purusha does not have Kartrutvam, Purusha has Bhoktrutvam. So that is what we have been seeing. We see in the Sankhya Karika also. But this particular line, it is something which is rather intriguing. Tada Purushasya upacharita bhoga bhavaha, upacharita bhogasya abhavaha. Upacharitasya bhogasya. Upachara. What is upachara? Upachara means just attributed, though it is really not there. Just upachara. Upacharika prayogam we say. Oh, the man is a lion, we say. Suppose the boy is a lion. Lion, simho manavakha. That is upacharika prayogam. Just lakshanika prayogam. We just attribute that because the boy is very brave, we say, oh, he is like a lion. He is not actually a lion. So Purushasya Upacharita Bhoga Bhavaha Shuddhihi. So Purusha, he is that even that attributed Bhoktrutva also disappears. So this is something which is in fact I wanted to consult one specialist on yoga. There is one gentleman who has done a lot of study on yoga, which is Mr. Penna Madhusudan in Kalidasa, that Ramtek University. In fact, I just got a phone. When in the morning I rang up, I was just getting a phone. I didn't want to take the phone in the class, so this doubt I had. तदा पुरुषस्य शुद्धिसारूप्यमिव आपन्नं भवति तदा पुरुषस्य उपचरितभोगाभावः शुद्धिः उपचरितभोगाभावः. In Yoga Sutra, in Yoga philosophy, there is no upachara. We accept that there is bhoktrutva for the Purusha. There is no kartrutva, but bhoktrutva is there. So, but then Vyasa Bhashyam says, Purushasya upacharitabhogabhava shuddhihi. So, let me read the translation. When the sattva aspect of buddhi is totally devoid of rajas and tamas, and when the afflictions of mind are reduced to burnt seed state, afflictions of the mind, these kleshas, are reduced to this burnt seed state, and the mind merely knows the distinction from Purusha, merely knows that Purushasya anyata pratiti, yes, I am this body-mind complex is totally different, then it appears as pure as Purusha. So at that time it is as pure as Purusha. Then the Purusha too is seen as pure. Tada Purushasya upacharita bhoga bhava shuddhi. Purushasya shuddhi. Purusha is always shuddha. We see in all this shuddham, amalam, etc. We see in all these Upanishadic sentences. Upacharita, the Purusha too is seen as pure without the bhoga which is attributed earlier. Okay. Then bhoga, yeah, I have not written my doubt here. Bhoga experience, I'll clarify it in the next class. Bhoga, her experience, is attributed to the Purusha, who is a mere witness consciousness, says Vyasa. But this seems to contradict the Sankhya doctrine that Purusha has bhoktrutva, the status of being enjoyer, bhoktrutva. Vedanta says there is no kartrutva, no bhoktrutva. Atma is pure. It is neither karta nor bhokta. Whereas in Sankhya, we say that it is not karta, but it is bhokta. Bhoktrutva is there. So that is what I have written here, attributed to Purusha, who is mere witness consciousness, says Vyasa. But this seems to contradict Sankhya doctrine that Purusha has bhoktrutva, the status of being the enjoyer. Okay. Then, etasyam avasthayam kaivalyam bhavati ishwarasthaniyasya va vivekajajnana bhaginaha itarasya va. So, etasyam avasthayam, in this stage, kaivalyam bhavati ishwarasya and ishwara. Ishwara. Ishvara does not mean the creator or anything. Ishvara is somebody who is having these siddhis. Ishvara in this context is somebody who has attained the siddhis. Anishvara is somebody who has not attained the siddhis. Then vivekaja jnana bhaginaha itarasyava. Whether the person has attained this, has sharpened this discriminating intellect. So the discriminating intellect, whether a person has attained the discriminating intellect or not. So kaivalyam bhavati. So these two things are extra things. This vivekajam jnanam is an extra qualification, and this ishvara, that is siddhi, etc., is not a qualification. It is a sort of incidental attainment, as an incidental result. So vivekaja jnanam is something which is consciously cultivated. Sanyama on so many things is consciously cultivated. Vivekaja jnana bhaginaha itarasyava. So liberation results at this stage, whether a person has attained siddhis or not, whether a person has attained the knowledge arising from viveka or otherwise. This that is need not to be there. This that is need not be there. Then nahi dagda klesha bijasya jnane punarapeksha kachidasti. For somebody whose klesha bija is totally burnt out. Say for him, jnane punarapesha kachida na kachidasti. There is no further thing to be known. When all those things are jnana means we are referring to the worldly knowledge. Jnane punarapesha kachidasti. When all the kleshas are gone, then the mind is not going out for any other external knowledge. Then sattva shuddhi dvarena etat samadhijam aishwaryam jnanam jnanancha upakrantam. Sattva Shuddhi Dwarena, when that Antahkarana has become very pure, Sattva is again predominant. Eta Samadhijam Aishwaryam Jnanam Ja Upakrantam. Because of that, this Aishwaryam, the Siddhis, which are all these Siddhis which incidentally happen, even that is Upakrantam. They are all transcended. They are also bypassed. Upakranta actually surpassed or transcended. Paramarthatastu jnanad adarshanam nivartate. Jnanad adarshanam nivartate. By knowledge, adarshanam is ignorance. Nivartate, it disappears. And tasmin nivrutte na santi uttare kleshaha. Once that ignorance is gone, there are no other kleshas. Na santi uttare kleshaha. Once that avidya is gone, avidya is the kshetram for uttaresham. Avidya kshetram uttaresham, isn't it? So avidya, once it is gone, uttare kleshaha, other kleshas, they go away. Then klesha bhavat karma vipaka abhavaha. Once the kleshas are not there, this karma phala also is not there. Karma vipaka is not there. Charitadhikarascha etasyam avasthayam gunaha. So these gunaha, all these three gunas are there. Charitadhikaraha, their purpose is over. Charitadhikara is a word which is used earlier also. Charitadhikara means his duties, his powers are all over, retired. They are all retired. Charitadhikarascha etasyam avasthayam gunaha. In this stage, all the gunas, their purpose is over. And yeah, this line and then correct time also is over. Na purushasya punaha drushyatvena upatishtante. All these gunaha, which are becoming a drushya in front of purusha all the while. So now they no longer appear. All these gunas which were appearing as so much of variegated world, all those gunas have now disappeared. Na purushasya punaha drushyatvena upatishtante. So they don't appear before him like drushya. Then tat purushasya kaivalyam. That is what is the purusha's kaivalyam. Then purusha also does not see these things. Gunaha also vitra. You see there, the gunas also vitra, because the prakriti also is independent here, isn't it? In Vedanta, prakriti is something which is a manifestation in purusha. In this Brahman, prakriti is only a manifestation. But here, this prakriti also is there. So here prakriti is withdrawing. So prakriti is withdrawing and purusha is withdrawing. Purusha is becoming pure. Tada purushaha swarupamatra jyotihi amalaha kevali bhavati. Then tada at that particular time, that purusha, what we call purusha bhavutvam, isn't it? So that purusha in that individual, swarupamatra jyotihi. So it's just pure, it's just shining as pure consciousness. Amalaha means without this Sattva Rajas Tamo Guna, Malam, even this Sattva Guna also becomes a Malam. That is like a golden chain. So Sattva Guna is needed in order to eliminate Rajas and Tamas. But once those things are eliminated, Sattva also has to drop off. So that is the idea. Swarupamatra Jyotihi Amalaha Kevali Bhavati. Kevali, Purusha becomes one alone, means that is only pure, just shining as pure consciousness without Sattva, Rajas and Tamo Guna. These gunas no longer present themselves before him in the form of a drushya. So that is the point. So in this last sutra, this particular doubt I had, I will check with some scholars and then get back. So we can now close. Any doubt, Srinivas?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. There are no questions today also, sir.
Okay. Then we'll stop.
Thank you.
Harihi Om.